everyone, good evening and welcome to Roma Theory. I am back and I've missed you all. Yes, I have. I was actually in Spain, in Tenerife, Mandem, Tenerife, and I am absolutely knackered. For the past, 5 days, I probably had 3 hours sleep in total. I woke up at 6 a.m, caught a flight, I'm back in Rome today. But yeah, I've missed you guys, and now we're back. Now we're back home, now we're back in Rome, 40 degrees in Rome. Dybala posted that picture on his socials of him sweating the absolute hell out of himself after the training session. It is very hot in Rome, I can confirm. But we're back. Look, preseason started on Monday, the team is getting back. The majority of the team is getting back, new signings. Sangare, of course, was our first official signing. Then what else did I miss? Enzo Lefi is going to become the second signing. He landed in Rome, medical checkups yesterday. We're just waiting for the official statement to come, the official post on Roma's Instagram. So yeah, the transfer market is starting to take shape. Preseason is starting to take shape, but we still have a lot to cover in this transfer window to make this team the closest thing possible to perfection. We will never reach perfection because for us to be perfect, then it means that we win the league, and we are not going to be perfect by August. We're not going to build a perfect team in the space of 2 months. But we can build a competitive team. We can build a team full of hungry players, full of young players, consistent players who will give it their all best to try and bring this team back to where they belong. And so what positions do we miss? A right back for sure, a striker for sure, a fast offensive winger for sure, maybe even a left back. We're missing a lot of pieces. The puzzle has just started. Bring this completion of the puzzle on. Also, Dybala's contract is another big topic. But yeah, look, today I'm going to speak about strikers. We've got quite a bit to go through today. We've got MIKAUTADZE, the Georgian striker, who Roma are considering, and Yusuf En-Nesyri is the other striker, confirmed by Di Marzio yesterday evening, that Roma are looking into. Mourinho in Turkey also wants him, so we'll speak about potential competition over there. Unfortunately, Chiesa, it feels like the deal is fading off. Roma are waiting, they found an agreement with Juventus, but the player is still not convinced in joining us as he is waiting for a Champions League team. So this deal might collapse as Roma doesn't have infinity to wait. And then the other thing here is young players. Incredible topic. I'm incredibly happy that Roma has extended Cherubini's contract, that they are, that they're just a point, that they've collected it for the preseason. You can see it on the stories. You can see it everywhere. João Costa, Cherubini, Pagano, Pizzilli, they are going to be a big part of this season. And I cannot wait for it because I absolutely love this. But yeah, right, how is everybody doing? Also a little Euro 2024 catch-up at the end. I'm going to give you my prediction for tonight, and then I'm going to give you my little comment on Spain, more specific on Lamine Yamal, because that guy is absolutely crazy. We also missed you. Thank you very much. I did miss you all indeed. Raquel made to Roma, please, says it's Sid. Not En-Nesyri, I'd rather keep Shomurodov. We should go for Olmo, not gonna lie. Simo, your opinion if Paredes leaves for Saudi? I think Paredes is gonna stay. I think Paredes is only gonna leave if he gets an offer which you just cannot say no to. Otherwise, he's gonna stay. De Rossi loves him, the fans love him, he loves us, he loves De Rossi, he loves to be here. He said how he's in love with this city. He's got 2 kids who are living life, he's a wife. There is no possible reason as to why Paredes would leave rather than a bid, an offer, a salary that you just physically can't say no to. So we'll see how that develops. But right, let's get into this. Also, can I remind you... Oh my god, I was about to choke on my own spit there. Sorry about that. Sorry about the details. Right, don't forget to hit the like. Please hit the like and subscribe to the channel if you're ready for this packed week of action and of transfer market action as well. Right, I'm going to start off with strikers here. MIKAUTADZE and Yusuf En-Nesyri are the 2 last names that have been linked with Roma. The Roma, it's been confirmed that Roma are looking at both of these names. Di Marzio has confirmed that Roma are planning to start a negotiation with Seville to sign En-Nesyri. And then the other name is the Georgian striker who had one hell of an incredible tournament at the Euros, George Mikautatze from Metz in France. Speaking about these two players, one of these two players I absolutely would love. The other one of these two players I would absolutely hate. I would love George Mikautatze. I think he is literally my definition of the perfect definition of the striker you need to start as a second striker and easily make its way and compete with the first striker. He is the perfect name to cover that type of striker. A striker that you bring in to initially be your second striker, but who has all the potential, all the talent, and all the quality to easily become your first striker. And I would absolutely love him. He is cheap. There's a lot of competition around him. Yes, West Ham are interested in him in the Prem, and Monaco from France are also interested in him. But lads, I mean, very honest with you, I would absolutely love this signing. I would love this signing not only because he's proven himself to be a very deadly striker when it comes to one-on-ones in front of the goal at the Euros. Georgia had, I'm not going to call it an incredible tournament, but for their dimensions, for their passion, for their legacy, Georgia had an incredible tournament. And Mikautatze was better than Kvaratskhelia. Mikautatze, until the end of the group stages, was the top scorer of the Euros. So not only has he proven to be, in a competitive tournament, very active, very deadly, but, you know, I just feel like age and profile-wise, he is the perfect striker we need. He is the striker we need. The other thing here, which I like, is I think Mikautatze would need to be paired with somebody. This pair could also be Tammy Abraham. I'm not excluding a pair of strikers of Tammy and George Mikautatze, and I wouldn't even complain, because I think that's a good duo. One of them knows this team, has scored a lot of goals with this team, just needs to get himself back going, Tammy. And the other one is Mikautatze. If Tammy doesn't play well, Mikautatze has all the rights and all the quality to bunch Tammy down on the bench. So I think this guy would need to be paired with somebody. He would need to be paired with somebody who, in my opinion, has a little bit of more experience. Tammy could be it, and I wouldn't complain. Depay, as we spoke about last week. Morata, which I don't think is going to happen. But just to give you an example, I think he's the perfect striker that you pair with somebody else who's maybe a bit older, also a bit more experienced, and all of that. And I would absolutely love this. But the other reason here is, I normally alert when the word risk comes out, just because knowing Roma, being a Roma fan, we can all agree that we are in no position to take risks, because we've got certain objectives that we need to try and, follow up. We've got criteria that need to be met in order for the salaries of players to increase, in order for these players to stay. We're not in a financial paradise. We're not a superpower of football. We are not Real Madrid. We're not Man City. We need to be careful with the risks we take. So we can't be spending 40 million on a striker that hasn't been performing well for the past 2 seasons, because that is a risk that we can't take. So when I look at the word risk, I'm like, okay, yes, risking is a massive, very important part of life. You all need to risk. We all need to take risks, but we need to back these risks. We need to be aware that we are actually taking these risks. Well, Mikautatze is the risk I take, because when I see him, I kind of link it to Kvaratskhelia, not because both of them are Georgian. I mean, maybe, but that's not my point. Not because both of them have impossible names to spell out, but because both of them or were, in terms of Kvara, players that nobody really knew about, had great seasons, and then Napoli bought Kvara, and Kvara in his first season at Napoli was the second best player in the league after Osimhen. So And I'm craving to have somebody in my team like that. I am craving when I speak about results, when I speak about football with my friends. I am desperate to go to them. Oh, look at him. He's my favorite player. I spent nothing to sign him and nobody knew who he was. And I can brag about it because I'm like, one thing is, oh well, I've got Mbappe in my team. How about you? Who do you have? And that's great. That's fun. That's incredible. But the other side of this is, I've got George MIKAUTADZE. Nobody knew about him. He's scoring goals for fun. And I was brave enough to take this risk. Now look at the player I have. Bologna did this with Zugzi. Napoli did this with Kvaratskhelia. We need to start taking risks. Not everything we do needs to be a risk. That's not what I'm saying. But we need to start being less scared to taking risks and being more confident in giving faith and confidence to these maybe more unknown players, which aren't really unknown, but second branded players, if you see what I mean. So I would absolutely love him. Second name, confirmed by Di Marzio yesterday evening, Yusuf En-Nesyri, or En-Nesyri. Moroccan, plays for Seville. Boring. That's what I call this deal, boring. I call this boring because... I call this boring for two reasons. Number one, I've never been a big fan of him. I respect his qualities, and I will be honest with you, in terms of strikers who are really good with their head, En-Nesyri is up there as a world-class striker. Like, every time you put a ball in the box, the guy jumps and headbutts it in the goal. And he's in terms of head scoring with his head, he's a world-class player. Absolutely world-class. But is that the striker we need? Is that a player I want? A player who's a head merchant? In my vision of my team, I don't want him as a striker. I don't want somebody like him as a striker. I want somebody who can participate and help the team in various other sections as well, rather than just be a striker who, by the way, with his feet is nothing special. He's a good striker, but with his feet, technique-wise, he's nothing special. He's really good with his head. Apart from that, he's coming from 2 seasons where he's not even at his prime anymore. He's 27 years old. He's not old. I'm not saying he's old. He's the perfect age for a striker. But, he's scoring from seasons where he scored around 10 goals. He scored 10 goals last season in La Liga. In my opinion, we need somebody better than this. And in the previous season, I think he had similar stats. We need somebody better than this. And the other problem here is that he's always injured. He's got fitness problems. So I'm like, it's a Roma move. Like, it makes sense because it's kind of the player Roma would go to. If you look at the past, if you look at the pattern of signings we had, you'd expect Roma to go for a player like En-Nesyri. But I'm like, can we improve ourselves? Can we be better than this? Can we stop buying these merchants? Not merchants, that's not the good word. I'm not saying he's finished, but En-Nesyri isn't the player he was 3 years ago anymore. I'm not a big fan of him. Like, I'd rather other names. I'd much rather MIKAUTADZE than En-Nesyri, and I'm not even joking. And the other fact here is, I don't want. I'm speaking on a moral side here, like on a biased side. I know these things shouldn't be taken into consideration in the transfer window, but I just hate the fact of us negotiating with Seville. I just hate it. I would absolutely have nightmares about it. I would hate about seeing the Ghisolfi fly to Seville to speak with them to buy the striker who robbed us a final. Not him. Taylor robbed us a final, but he was part of the team that we lost against, and that gives me PTSD. So yeah, I want other things. I want different things. I don't, I don't want En-Nesyri. I find it a boring deal. Mourinho wants him at Fenerbahce. Jose, you can have him. Like, you can absolutely have him. If you want him, you can have him. You're not gonna break your hearts. You're not gonna destroy your dreams. You can have him. You can keep him. You can start him. He can win the Europa League with you. But trust me, you're not gonna break your hearts here if you get En-Nesyri. Mourinho wants him. Again, Mourinho, Paul, we're used to this. I don't think it takes a god to convince En-Nesyri to join the team. But yeah, like I'm kind of over it. Like I'm not a big fan of him, and I don't see him as the striker that Roma need in a long-term project. In 3 years' time, he's 30 years old. I'm not saying he's old, but in 3 years' time, he's 30 years old. I don't call that a long-term investment. It can be, but I don't see that as the perfect long-term investment that this team needs. I don't. I would much rather spend money on MIKAUTADZE, take the risk, and get somebody who's either more experienced, like Depay, who's a free agent, or keep Tammy. I would much rather keep Tammy than get En-Nesyri. I would. I would give Tammy another chance. I'm 50-50 with Tammy. If the offer comes in, if it's a big offer, I accept it. Otherwise, I keep Tammy. I give him one last chance, and I want to see what he can do. So that's that when it comes to strikers. Now, let me just read a few comments. We need to focus on the youth. We keep going for names so we can make Europe when we should be building a core around the youth that can fight for Europe year after year. Says Hilan. Zirkzee joining United indeed. Yes, the Serie A is going to miss him because I think he's the perfect Serie A player. I really like him as a player, but I'm afraid Man United are going to ruin him a bit. But, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I don't want Seville players though. What happened to David? I think it was always just a consideration. We never really started a proper negotiation with him. The pint to Roma would be so cool, says Trash Aim. You remind me of Mike Ross from Suits. I have no idea who he is. Mike Ross from Suits. Cheers. That's all I can say. Thank you. I hope it's a compliment. Right, moving on. Chiesa. We're a bit disappointed, aren't we? We're a bit disappointed because Chiesa is the party destroyer. You know, he's the party destroyer. You know that friend, you go to a party and then you've got that friend who's like, I'm gonna come late to the party. You're a party destroyer. I understand his perplexities. I understand his doubts. I do. As a Roma fan, I'll admit that. I'll be honest and say that, you know, you can't just say yes. You need to think. You gotta compare what Roma offer to what other teams offer. But if then that's the case, then I'm also happy that Roma's giving an ultimatum to him. So what's the situation here? Roma and Juventus have found an agreement. Roma and Juventus have spoken to each other. Ramadani, Chiesa's agent, constantly spoke with Ghisolfi. Roma and Juventus have found an agreement. It's a 20 to 22 million base plus a few little add-ons. Roma and Juventus have found a deal. If Chiesa says yes tonight, Chiesa tomorrow will become a Roma player. Roma and Juventus have found the agreement. Juventus are pushing for Chiesa to accept this move and leave the club because they don't think that he's part of their new project and they want to monetize quick so that they can get another signing like Cup Miners. So they want the money fast. And they're putting pressure on Chiesa to go, accept Roma. We've found an agreement. I've found an agreement with them. De Rossi really admires you. Please just accept this so we can get the money. That is the situation in easy words. However, there's a however here. Chiesa is like, I respect De Rossi. I respect the Roma project. I'm really intrigued by it. I'm really attracted by it. But the obstacles here is, or one, financial obstacle. Chiesa at Roma would earn the same amount at Juventus. And let's not forget that Chiesa wanted an extension at Juventus with a higher salary. So the obstacle here is not only the financial salary, and then the number two obstacle here is that he is waiting for Champions League team to present an offer for him, because he still would rather play the Champions League than join us. However, there's another however here to flip the cards again, which goes that no Champions League team wants Chiesa, and no Champions League team has presented an official bid or an official offer to Juventus. So Chiesa is in a situation where Roma and his team has found an agreement because they have. So Chiesa, we're in a situation here where Chiesa only has an offer from Roma, but he's still uncertain about it. But he's waiting for other offers, but these other offers don't come. So what Roma have done here is very professional, and I cannot say anything against them. I'm liking how Roma are operating here, because they've gone, right, Federico, my dear Federico, me and Juventus have found an agreement. De Rossi really wants you. De Rossi really believes in you. De Rossi really wants to relaunch you. The fans are passionate. You'd be at the center of the team with Dybala. You'd meet Dybala again. This is all we can offer. I'm not giving you a massive salary because I want to be more sustainable. That's not the direction I want to follow. So my dear Federico, I know you're a bit uncertain, but I need you to hurry up and tell me what you want to do. And Roma have set an ultimatum here. Roma have set an ultimatum. I don't know how long this ultimatum is, but an example is, if by next Monday I don't have your answer, I'm ending talks. The deal is gonna collapse. I don't mind, because I can go for other players who have lower salaries, lower wages, and are even younger than you. So it's not my problem if you don't join us. However, if you don't join us, then you're in a position where you might stay Juventus because nobody wants you and nobody big has presented a deal for you. So you might stay Juventus and be a second option and then not play and ruin your career. Because Juventus have made it clear they don't want to extend his contract. And Juventus don't want to lose him as a free agent next season. So ultimatum is the word to describe the Chiesa situation. Is it off? No, it's not. It's not been confirmed that the deal has collapsed. What has been confirmed is that Roma are not going to guarantee what Chiesa wants in terms of finances. That they found an agreement and it all depends on him. My little comment here is very simple. If Chiesa wants us, great. If Chiesa doesn't want us, I don't mind. Chiesa's great player, but he ain't Cristiano Ronaldo. So, ultimatum is correct. Giving him an ultimatum is good because it puts pressure on him. And we need to understand we don't have time to waste, and we don't need players who don't want to be here. So we need to understand what he wants to do. I would much rather get a hungry Riquelme than a Chiesa who comes here just because nobody wanted him, and he was forever uncertain about this because he always wanted a Champions League deal. A Champions League team. I would much rather a hungry Riquelme who wants to kind of rebuild himself after being benched by Atletico Madrid than a disappointed Chiesa who would come to Roma just because Juventus don't want him and Bayern Munich haven't presented an offer for him. So, Federico, hurry up, tell us what you want to do, because we're not going to give you until infinity because it's disrespectful to us. That's that. And then the last thing, I am very happy of what I'm seeing from these 4 initial days of preseason. Roma post constant posts on Instagram, and it feels like Roma are in a direction where a lot of the future is within the hands of Pisilli, Gio Costa, Pagano. They extended Cherubini's contract. A lot of these players are talented. A lot of these players need to start getting game time. We always ask ourselves. Yesterday I was watching the game and I saw comments go, well, Camarda from Milan is too young to start in the Italian national team. Or Cherubini can't start at Roma because he's not a good player and he's not that old. And we need more experienced players. Well, yesterday, at around 9 p.m. Italian time, a player called Lamine Yamal, 16 years old, has proved everybody why Italy is a country where young players don't want to be in because nobody believes in them. And I'm glad that Roma are now following this direction of, I really believe in my youth. They're really, really good. Is it a surprise that Roma lost the league title final last year and that they were winning titles for fun, the youth setup 2-3 years ago? Is it a surprise that Italy under 21 won the Euros and that Italy under 17s won the World Cup? No, it's not. We are a country full of young prospects. If you don't start these prospects, they're gonna disintegrate. We need to be brave. And if they can have a full pre-season with the first team, with De Rossi, under De Rossi's tactics, it's good. It's a good thing. And we should be happy about it. And I'll say another thing. That boy who came back from his loan from Sampdoria, give him another chance. Don't sell him. He had a great loan spell at Sampdoria. Try him again. Have a pre-season with him. Don't send him on loan again. Keep him. That is how squad depth gets built. With young players as well. And I am so happy that we've extended Cherubini's contract. Cherubini is a very interesting player to look at. Because Cherubini is either going to become the new... I'm not going to overhype him because this is the constant mistake that we make. Is either going to become a massive gem because the talent is there, the technique is there. Go watch his highlights, go watch his clips. He's an incredible player. The problem with Cherubini is this. Now that he's in the first team, now that he's having a full preseason with De Rossi, with the staff, with players like Dybala, he needs to change this. If Cherubini changes this, then he can go from a potential Cassano to a potential De Rossi. That's a very big difference because Cassano was technically gifted, but this never worked out, which is why ultimately Cassano's career wasn't that successful. Mindset is very important. Mindset is massively important. And I am Pizzilli, look, I'll give you a little story. Analogy time with Simo. So there's this stereotype in Italy of, it's not a stereotype, it's just, there's this stereotype of not a clean boy, but not a toxic boy, not a toxic lad, not a toxic teen, not a toxic lad. I don't know where I'm bringing this to. Let me try and simplify this. Cherubini doesn't have an easy head. A lot of people say this. I'm not making this up. I've read a lot of articles which say that Cherubini is a tough personality. There's this stereotype in Italy of be more like Yannick Sinner. There is. I'm not sure if you follow tennis. Yannick Sinner, number 1, Italian, won the Australian Open at the start of the year. Now that Sinner went viral in Italy, and now that Sinner is probably the most trending person in Italy this season in 2024, there's this stereotype in Italy which goes, make your son like Yannick Sinner. Clean boy, toxic boy, no tattoos, no earrings, simple, doesn't protest, easy, doesn't accept multi-billionaire sponsorships, probably does. There's this stereotype. In the Roma team, to keep this Roma themed, there is this stereotype of Bove è un bravo ragazzo. Bove goes to university, Bove has a degree as well as playing for Roma. Bove is the player you kind of want your children to be if they want to become football players. And this stereotype, I'm trying to twist this stereotype and go, be more like Sinner, be more like Bove, be less like Cherubini in terms of mindset, in terms of appearance. But appearances, you can be whatever you want. I'm not here to dictate who you are. You can have as many tattoos as you want. But appearance is also something, a key that defines if somebody is simple or not. Because if somebody is 18 years old, starts his football career, and he is completely tapped. He's got 7 earrings, dyes his hair blonde, then I get the impression that he's not he's not a simple lad. He likes being the lad who's different. So there needs to be this, be more like Pisilli. Pisilli is going to be the new Bove. Look, realistically speaking, I don't know what the fuck I just said. That's the truth. I'm trying to make you understand that Cherubini, I'm very, very happy that we've extended his contract because his talent is immense and we need to give him game time. We need to start him. We need to make him a starting player in this team, but we need to work on his head because his head is very fragile. His head is the head of a player who's got all the talent to be like Dele Alli was, but then, Cherubini is like, you've got the talent to be Griezmann. Let's put it like that. But you're also very, very, very close to be Balotelli or Nainggolan or Dele Alli. You've got the talent. You've got an immense talent. You got to use it wisely. Use it wisely. Use it wisely. Because look at Dele Alli. He went from this to this in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. I see a lot of Dele Alli in Cherubini. I see a lot of Balotelli in Cherubini. Zaniolo was also like this, which is why Zaniolo didn't work out ultimately. Be better, improve, because if you do improve this, then I can guarantee you that in 5 years' time, Cherubini is going to be your starting player. I can guarantee you this. And I'm very happy that Darboe, João Costa, Sangaré, Pisilli, Pagano, Cherubini are all having a full preseason with the first team. It is massively important for this team to continuously develop its youth setup. It's massively important, especially for a team that doesn't have immense financial power. The more young players you can grow and have the courage to start on your first team, the better. Lamine Yamal is ultimately the persona that everybody looks up to after yesterday evening. 16 years old, rocking the game. Lamine Yamal is probably in this current generation of football the player who I would say could have a similar career to Ronaldo and Messi. Mbappe, no. Mbappe, no. Because Mbappe at 25 years old is nothing compared to what Messi and Cristiano were at 25. So Lamine Yamal right now is probably the player that could have and is the closest in being the new Messi or Cristiano. But again, can you keep this? It's very hard. In a world of football where social media is big, can you keep this up? But yeah. Right, Euro little catch-up. Spain completely dominated everybody. I do think they're going to win the Euros now. England against the Netherlands tonight. I hope England just get knocked down wherever they go. If it's tonight or if they lose the final, I don't care. Just please say football and don't make those lads win. Don't. I mean, I was in Tenerife these past days, and I was surprised by the amount of British people that go there. It feels like it's a British colony. All of them. Hey, wanker, it's coming home, you little wanker. Fuck off. I hope Van Dijk ends you tonight. Yeah, I'm going. I've got a little feeling the Netherlands are gonna go through. England have been way too lucky. Luck ends. Luck isn't forever. So I'm gonna spice it up and say the Netherlands to go through on penalties tonight, and then Spain to win the Euros deservedly, dominating everybody. I'm going to catch you tomorrow. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe to the channel. Enzo Lafi should be official in these next couple of hours. We'll see if it's tonight or tomorrow morning. But Enzo Lafi is the second completed signing after Bouba Sangaré. Who will be the third? That's the question. What happened to David? Yeah, we already read that. Tammy is either shit or very good striker. He's never average. Agree. We should loan Cherubini, Pagano, João Costa and Pisilli. I wouldn't loan all of them. I'd keep a few of them. A lot of them can... Maybe not all of them, but I would keep quite a lot of them. You prefer Chiesa or a younger player? I still prefer Chiesa, but my patience is also fading away. Just like De Rossi's patience is. So if Chiesa wants us, Chiesa. If he doesn't want us, then I'd rather Riquelme. Pizzilli even scored in UCL. I think we'll never go to Roma because we don't play Champions League. You never know. If nobody wants him and he's stuck in this bubble, then you never know. The transfer window's weird. You might say yes. But, you know, we can't give him forever to think about this. Cherubini is just like Nainggolan. Chiesa, big disappointment, says Matthew. Would you rather get Mount back or En-Nesyri? I know you probably don't want both. Oh, Azmoun back or En-Nesyri. I like Azmoun, but not as a first striker. Like I want something different as a first striker. I'm curious to see who we get because I want something different as a first striker. Right, I'm gonna catch you tomorrow. Please do hit the like, everybody. Takes 2 seconds. It's free of cost. If you're watching this live or not, I am officially back. So please do hit the like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let me know your thoughts and comments in the comments down below. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Enjoy your evening, and up the Netherlands tonight. Simo out.